Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at, in my opinion, the 6 best lucky trades for Ultra Premier. Let me know down in the comment section below if you want me to do one for Ultra League, for Great League. In Master League, it's pretty standard, right? Obviously, you know what it is, like, Legacy Mewtwo, Dialga, Giratina, etc., etc. So these are the 6 best in my opinion, and I based them on the usefulness in Ultra Premier. I compared them to the default meta list on PvPoke with default IVs and the most optimal IVs for the Pokemon that we're evaluating. I did want to evaluate based off of rareness, but some of these are more generally useful, so I thought I'd give a pretty decent list to start with. So the first one is the most obvious one. This is going to be the best Pokemon in Ultra League. In Ultra League Premier, it's going to be an absolute monster. It's already a monster in the Great League. I believe it's ranked number 1 on Great League right now, or number 2. Fighting for the case with Azumarill. It does have one pretty big counter in Generation 6, which is Chestnut, which is the grass starter, which is grass and fighting, a typing that resists all the movesets, and if it has pretty decent moves, it's going to have a pretty good counter. You do want 100% at level 51. It's still below 2500. So if they ever release level 60, it would be even more of a monster. But as you can see here, it picks up a lot of wins in the Zero Shield 20 out of 32. This doesn't include, obviously Stunfisk itself and some of the new meta Pokemon like Skarmory, like Mandibuzz, like Altaria, which will make Stunfisk look even better. It has to be careful of fighters and some water types, but even the water types besides Swampert, it has like really great play against, like Lapras, for example, because it's able to hit super effective with Rock Slide, and even in Polion, it's going to be able to hit with Earthquake. So, and then you can see in the 1 shield and 2 shield. I guess I should put the label somewhere, but basically it goes 0 shield, 1 shield, 2 shield, and you can see it's pretty dominant against the meta across the board. You have to have a Stunfisk. Now, you don't have to have a Stunfisk, but it is going to be a Pokemon that you're going to either have to check or encourage you to use it in your Ultra League Premier teams. The next one is Mandibuzz, obviously the evolved form of Volibede. Volibede is quite rare. It comes from the 12k Strange Eggs. So if you are able to lucky trade it, I think it's going to be fantastic. Again, it's similar to Stunfisk. It's going to max under 2500 even at level 51. So once you get the best buddy, you definitely want to best buddy it. It's probably not as important as Stunfisk, because Stunfisk, you definitely want to win CMP versus the opposing Stunfisk. I was going to do a video on the impact of best buddies, but it really only changes like one matchup for Stunfisk and Mandibuzz, so I decided to do this video instead. But let me know down in the comment section below if you want me to do a video on, what are the best buddies to do for PvP. As you can see here, it picks up a lot of wins in the 0, 1, and 2 shield. I have it with Foul Play and Shadow Ball. Arguably, you don't need Shadow Ball per se. I'm trying to think of what you would want Shadow Ball for, because it hits like pretty similar Pokemon. I guess like for fairy types, it's probably Shadow Ball is probably better than Aerial Ace, but Aerial Ace is quite nice for the fighters, for the grass types, and then as well for like Obstagoon, for example. I believe it'll still lose to Obstagoon, regardless of the moveset that Obstagoon has, unless you end up shielding the Gunk Shot or Hyper Beam. But if it has Cross Chop, then Obstagoon should be able to. It should go pretty even. Actually, I guess it goes pretty even with it, but so it's debatable whether you want Shadow Ball or Aerial Ace. We'll see as the meta plays out. It will do. You could also have. I believe it also has Dark Pulse, so that's also a moveset consideration. But I think this is either way. Mandibuzz is super tanky. It's gonna be not everywhere in Ultra League, because obviously it's going to take a lot of XL candy, a lot of Stardust, and obviously getting the 100% is going to be pretty tough, or even high IV. but if you can get a hold of one, then I think it's totally worth using. Next one is Skarmory. Skarmory I debated putting on this list, mostly because like most people should have a pretty good IV Skarmory if you've been doing GBL, because it comes frequently in rewards. But if you don't, getting 100% is going to be super nice. As you can see here, it picks up a lot of wins. Obviously, some of the Pokemon that are not in the meta, that are on this meta list, like Stunfisk, for example, it will struggle against. And even some of the ones that we're going to feature a little bit later. But as you can see, with that Brave Bird nuke, it just like absolutely runs through the field. I just feel really bad. It's like a better Honchkrow, a tankier, better typing, cooler looking Honchkrow, I guess you could argue. And as you can see, it just picks up a ton of wins in the 0 shield, 1 shield, and 2 shield. It's gonna be, in my opinion, the best flyer. It does have to be careful of Charizard, and there's a few other considerations. Obviously, there's a lot of electric types like Magnezone and whatnot, but Skarmory Stunfisk, that's a pretty crazy combo. I guess Empoleon would be a great core breaker for that, but you can see that it just picks up a lot of wins, right? So it's going to be very strong. It's going to be able to beat all the fighters, even though it takes neutral from fighting. Its typing is amazing. I think it's going to be, if you don't have a Skarmory, if you're not going to use a Skarmory in Ultra League Premier, then you definitely have to account for it, because strong flyers, tanky flyers are coming, and Skarmory is going to be leading the way. The next one is Bronzong. I have it level 50.5. This is actually not the rank one. The rank one is like 11, level 51, like 11, 14, 15 or something like that. But if you have a lucky trade one, the good thing about doing Bronzong is if you have a lucky trade, it's almost guaranteed you'll have like a top 50 PvP IV one. Unlike the other ones, where if you get like a 12-12-12 Stunfisk or 12-12-12 Mandibuzz or 12-12-12 Skarmory, it's unlikely it's gonna lose a lot in terms of stat product. For Bronzong, you're not gonna lose a ton, and Bronzong, it does struggle against the Pokemon that are coming into the meta, like Stunfisk, like Mandibuzz, like Skarmory. I guess Skarmory goes pretty neutral but obviously they both resist each other's moves. But as you can see, it picks up a lot of wins against the existing meta. So you can think about like all the grass types, all the fighters, the ice types. It has some struggle against like Empoleon, but it does have Bulldoze for it. It's just like Confusion, Psyshock, and Bulldoze. Like its typing is just really, really, really strong. It will struggle against like Obstagoon as well, because of the dark typing, but besides that, it does performs really well against the existing meta, and even against Skarmory and Stunfisk. It has some counterplay with its moveset and typing. Mandibuzz it'll be really bad against, but I think it's definitely worth looking into. I'd probably prioritize one of the first 3 before this one, but if you want a lucky trade, you're like, oh, okay, you can get a nice shiny out of it. I guess you can get a shiny Skarmory, but if you want a nice shiny that you can use in Ultra League that I think it'll be really strong, then I think Bronzong is definitely a consideration. The next one is Umbreon. This one is with Last Resort, and you probably do want Last Resort for the fairy types, for Obstagoon. Those are probably in the mirror Umbreon. It does max under 2,500, similar to the first 3, and it performs pretty well, except for in the 2 shield, because of the eventual fast move pressure. And you can see in the 1 shield, it barely wins. There's a huge spike around 500, but I do think it's going to be a great generalist. It'll serve like a kind of a similar role to Snorlax, where it'll be a really great safe switch. Unfortunately, its moveset's not as diverse as Snorlax, so it's not going to be able to have like the super power to be able to, nuke Obstagoons that switch in on it, or it's the lick and body slam damage is really great. Like neutral damage as well, but Umbreon, it should be a pretty strong competitor, and as well it loses to Stunfisk. It does pretty even with Skarmory and Mandibuzz, especially if Mandibuzz has Aerial Ace. So, and then as well does really well against Bronzong. So it has really great play against the existing meta, especially in the Zero Shield, just because it's able to outspam with Snarl and Foul Play. And then as well has really great play against the Pokemon that are going to come into the meta. So again, December Community Day, who knows what's going to be, but it with Last Resort, it could be. I think it's going to be pretty good. So, and the last one is Galvantula. I debated Galvantula. I'm not completely sold on Galvantula, but some of the, I think it's great with shields up. If you don't have any shields, it's gonna be pretty bad, like it is in Ultra League. But as shields up and with that lunge damage, it's gonna be pretty powerful. The one big disadvantage of Galvantula is that it shares the same big counter, same counter as Stunfisk, which is gonna be Swampert. So Swampert, unlike in Great League, is it's going to be a harder counter to Galvantula because the bulkiness is not going to add up. But again, Galvantula, I think it's going to be pretty strong. The rank 1 is Best Buddy 13, 15, 15. As shields go up, the lunge damage is going to really add up over time. It's going to be able to do a lot of damage. And as well, it does beat Ampharos, which is another electric type, and actually beats Magnezone in the 2 shield. Because both lunge and discharge are neutral, or not neutral, single resisted, then it's best to go lunge because it only does slightly less damage than discharge. So I think Galvantula definitely has some play. It should be pretty interesting, and those are my 6 recommendations. For sure, you want Stunfisk and Skarmory. Mandibuzz will be kind of nice, and then the other 3 are, if you're looking to build some interesting teams with them, especially Galvantula, resisting counter is nice. Taking neutral from like the Air Slashes and Sky Attacks from Skarmory is not going to be as nice, and as well taking super effective damage from Charizard is not as nice. But the fact that it can beat Ampharos is great, and then as well has better counterplay against Venusaur because it's able to hit with a neutral lunge damage, and as well it has some like carryover impact. If it's able to win the matchup with a little bit of health and a little bit of energy, it can lunge the next Pokemon, then give it a leg up in the next matchup. So those are my 6 recommendations. Let me know if you want me to do versions for the Great League, for Ultra League, and then as well if you want me to do any best buddy analysis for Master League, even though I don't think, we'll see how they play. Anyways, I don't want to say too much. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.